Hey, this is Lemon from Kellerhead Studios. Today we're going to check out how to turn this into this. Today I'm going to use my Krank Revolution 100 watts with the plumes, and I'm going to try to recreate the same sound with the Helix using their Mesa module. We're in Studio One and we basically have one track which is the DI track. We have the crank coming in on the second channel, and I'm going to flip the solo between both of them. They're both going into the same bus, which has on it our new IR pack called Lip Snot, and we're going to use the Hippo and the Death Cone. From testing that already done, I discovered the plugin and the amp actually have a phase issue, so I'm already flipping the phase on the DI track. First of all, we'll need to have the Helix open up, and I got here Helix Native. I'm going to load an empty preset, and I'm going to get it prepped up. So first of all, gate, mucho importante, something like this. We want to have the plumes, which I know they have a model of, and we're using mode 3, level all the way up, around something like this. We're going to add another gate for tightness. And by the way, the gate that you see on the crank amp is actually fed by the DI, so have a quieter environment to work with. And for an amp, let's take the rectifier. I really wish they had a search bar that might have it and I just missed it for some reason, but here it is. So I'm going to add an EQ that have a tone match functionality built into it, and copy it into both of my channels. Basically what we're going to hear now is the Krank Revolution going through the IR. I'm just going to use the EQ to see what is the difference in tonality between the two amps. So we see the plugin has a little bit more high end, lacking some mids, and the really low part, the low frequencies, are kind of lacking as well. I'm going to try to add some bass, even though it's kind of counterintuitive for a Mesa. See that it really helps us out. Let's see what the mid does. Let's get rid of some treble and present. So now let's try to do some EQ matching. So we're going to select the crank. As we can see, that's a very aggressive EQ move. And let's see how it sounds as is. So we have the crank. And then we have the DI. Not too bad. Let's listen to the Helix without the EQ. Oh-ho. Okay. Back to the crank. They sound pretty similar to me, with minor differences. So that was the Helix, and now crank. I can still hear some differences. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to copy the IR into both of the channels. I'm going to get rid of the bus track. So they're both going into the main. And I'm going to pen them left and right. Let's see what's the difference between those two. Sorry about that. Not too bad. Let's try to do a little bit extra over here. So I'm going to add another EQ and to redo the process. So I'm going to set it to the amp after the IR, and let's do some tone matching. Okay, now let's see if we can distinguish between the two. So we're going to center both of them back, and okay, that was the Helix. Awesome, and that was the crank. So now they're a little bit closer. So let's try to check it out in the mix. We have here the HX stomp with the match tone, and the green channels are basically the crank. So let's check it out. So I hope this was helpful for you. As you can see, we can match different amps to sound pretty much the same. In this example, it worked pretty well. It does not always work as good, but it's a great alternative for you if you have a boutique amp or a very specific tone that you want to have with you on the road, and the modeler does not really provide the same amp that you have or a boutique pedal that you have. We use here the new IR pack, Lip Snot, which is coming out soon. If there are any questions, your experience with this process was a little bit different, please let us know in the comments below. Cheers.